community groups warn against push to rip up UK nuclear industry rules. Going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. So it's a joint response by 25 bodies said proposals to speed up approvals for new power plants weaken the protections for the public. Now, there is a catch-22 sides of this, yeah. So there's a part of me that's like I'm not personally completely on board with nuclear energy. However, of course, I do think, obviously, in regards to it's much safer than oil and gas, and it's not producing emissions and whatnot. However, it is still a dangerous energy resource, of course, because we're talking about nuclear here. But it can be managed in a safe way as well. And we do need to be able to self-sustain our own energy instead of relying on foreign electricity as well. We do need to transition our industry, and we need to transition it as quickly as we possibly can as well. At the same time, we do need to keep protections as well. And I do feel like, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree with me, that Labour are trying to, dumb down on some of the very important rules and regulations in certain aspects, so that they can show that they are making a difference, that they're getting things done in the government, within this first parliament. And that does feel like that to a certain extent here, and we shouldn't be weakening protections for the public for this as well. So it is a cause for concern, and especially when you've got 25 bodies here are worried about this as well. So a coalition of civil society groups is warning of the dangers of cutting safety regulations as the government pushes to rip up the rules to accelerate the construction of new nuclear power stations. 25 groups from communities neighbouring nuclear sites have submitted a joint response to a consultation by the Nuclear Regulatory Taskforce, saying its proposals lack both credibility and rigour. They argue that the plans to relax regulations only serve to undermine confidence in regulators and the UK's nuclear regime. The government is pushing to speed up approvals for new plants and says it needs to rip up the rules to fire up nuclear power. But the groups in their submission to the task force, which published its interim report in August, argue that the government has failed to present any evidence that substantiates assertions that the need for reform of nuclear safety regulation. In reality, they say that the problems facing the UK's nuclear programme are the result of mitigated factors, including poor planning, investment difficulties, and slow decision-making by industry and central government. So David Cullen, the co-chair of the coalition, has said, quote, the UK's nuclear watchdog system has worked well for 60 years to ensure the regulatory safety of high-hazard industrial sectors. In our view, the system is not broken and it does not need fixing. And it would be madness to rip up a tried and tested nuclear safety rules that have kept the public safe for a lifetime. Why change something that is good and safe? Measures proposed by the task force that would weaken protections for the public and undermine the independence of watchdogs, forcing them to follow instructions from ministers to permit construction of new power stations, whether or not they pose risk to local communities and much-loved countryside. Groups in the coalition are all part of the Office for Nuclear Regulation, ONR, a non-government organisation forum. In a submission to the task force, the groups argue that the ONR's current regulatory regimes balance the need to protect society with the requirements to be proportionate towards the industry it is regulating. They say the task force proposals to speed up approval of a project where a similar one has been granted in another country, for example in the US, could result in lower safety standards in the UK. Cullen said our proposals to the task force set out steps for which the nuclear industry could take to put its own house in order and call for more public participation to allow communities to have a bigger say in their nuclear decision making, which would have profound impacts on their way of life. The task force consultation ended this week, so by the time you've seen this, the consultation would have already ended here. People have a right to be able to have their voice in their concerns, and all safety precautions need to be taken when we're discussing when dealing with any kind of energy, especially energy such as nuclear. People need to have their say, and protections must be kept just for the safeguarding of people. I think it is something we should be concerned about. The government wants to show that they are getting things done, that they're getting on with the job, that they're making a difference. But I feel like they're more concerned about trying to showcase that they have done stuff in time for the next general election, rather than actually thinking about the long-term situation. I think there's a paranoia within Labour that they need to get things done quickly and fast to show that they are doing things. And this is one of many things that I feel that they're looking to do. But honestly, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is what it is? Do you think it's all a political posture to show that they're getting things done? and that's why one of the ways they're reducing regulation. Let me know your thoughts and more about all this and more down in the comment section below. Now, if you found this video interesting and informative, hit that like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and do check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here on this channel, you can click the join button down below to become a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.